welcome to Coogs Corner as we have the official podcast of University of Houston Athletics and a chance to get things going here as we welcome in the athletic director here at the University of Houston, Chris Pesman. And on this edition, we're talking on-field success, and certainly during your tenure, we've had plenty of it.
Yeah, I showed up at a great time. I keep telling everybody that my job's to keep the train on the tracks and keep moving the way we're going. Our teams across the board between on the field, court, pool, everybody's achieving at a really high level. We actually were going back and pulling some historical information since we came into the conference. We've won more championships than anybody else in the American Athletic Conference during the 6 years that the league's been in existence, and it's something that we're very prideful of. And as we get into a spring period where we have a lot of success, we look forward to continuing to have that success.
And, track and field is already – you've got an indoor championship already this year, and now outdoor will be starting up here this month. But and Leroy Burrell, those guys have really done a great job with that.
Leroy and Carl and Will and Kyle and those guys, what's really neat about it is they're all Cougars. They've all been here for a long time. And the sustained success that they've created, and then with Carl coming into the program about the last 4 or 5 years, and the energy that he brought with him and how that went from transitioning into conference championships and now competing for national championships, which we genuinely are, not only individually but as a team, has been incredibly gratifying. I mean, it's incredible to see the energy and passion that group has for coaching those kids, men and women, and the success they've had and how it translates.
And Carl is legit. I mean, this is one of the greatest Olympic athletes ever. And he comes in and you're thinking, is this going to be a guy that's going to be, here I am, I'm Carl Lewis. It's not like that. This is a guy, he has a passion for everything he does.
It's funny. I tell people, like, Carl Lewis, you see him in the hallway or he comes into your office and says, hey, I need something. I'm like, I'm not saying no to Carl Lewis. Like, whatever Carl needs, we got to figure out a way to get it done.
Don't know that the other coaches, because then he'll go to Carl to ask for it.
That's right.
Exactly, ask for them. All right, let's talk some swimming and diving, too, because once again, another conference championship, and you've got several going on to nationals.
Yeah, so this is our 4th year in a row of winning swimming and diving, which we've had success previously, and it was really based around swimming and with our divers. Now the blended success with diving and swimming, and we're sending 7 kids to nationals this coming weekend. And so we look forward to scoring points on the national stage, which then in turn helps us with our Learfield Cup standings at the end of the year. Over the last couple of years, the Learfield Cup is a metric that they use to score points on how you do nationally and in postseason play across all the spectrum of sports. And we've been the highest, I don't want to say non-P5, but P6 continually in that standing, and it's something that we're really proud of.
Move on. Let's talk basketball, because it's going to be heating up, obviously, this month of March. The March Madness will continue, and trying to make another run like this team did last year. I think Coach Sampson, first of all, getting him locked up and getting him in the fold, and then being able to take a team that lost 4 starters.
Yeah.
They were built for it last year, I thought, with the senior guards, and they play so hard. Those are the kind of teams that go a long way in the NCAA tournament. He just flipped the script, and now you got a freshman leading scorer. What a job they've been able to do.
Yeah, Kelvin, I told this story the other day, and it's something that you really have to kind of see, and I'll try and articulate it. When we were meeting a couple years ago, and he was talking about the way the program was being developed and the way he was stacking kids and the way he was stacking classes and the way that you could feel and understand the success and the way it was going to be sustained, by no means do you ever take winning for granted. Winning is the hardest thing you'll ever do, but you can anticipate what that program is built to be, and you saw it last year, and you saw it again this year because you lost 4 incredible players last year, Galen and Armani and those kids, and then to see 2 true freshmen and a true sophomore come in and lead the team the way that they have, knowing that we're 3, 4, 5 deep into our bench. It's another team that's built for a run in the tournament.
You can also speak to this, too, is just the exposure nationally that you get with an NCAA tournament run. That's something you can't buy.
Well, yeah, it just happened this last weekend on Sunday's game. We had CBS Prime here with Jim Nantz calling our game. That was their first game as they warm up to get into the postseason tournament or into the NCAA tournament. And to have them here calling a regular season game, that's exactly what you just mentioned. That's the exposure that you get on a scale that you can't get any other way.
You go back, it's night and day. Go back 5 years and a Sunday afternoon game at 11 or Sunday 11 a.m. game. It'd have been friends and family. It was a little different atmosphere. At 11 o'clock.
It's when we got here. We were playing at TSU and they were incredible partners for us. But we had less than 1,000 season ticket holders, and now we're sold out. We were that last game this last weekend against Memphis. We'd been sold out for the better part of a week, and the demand that creates and the benefit that creates in other ways for the program and the recognition and just the energy that it creates is you can't quantify it.
Let's talk. I want to move on just because we're continuing to talk with Chris Pesman, the athletic director here at the University of Houston. I'm talking on-field success and women's golf. I don't want to sell it short because there's another perennial conference champion.
Yeah, Garrett and the job that he's done with that program. I mean, he's an incredible resource for our kids and for our program, and just the run that they continue to have, again, year over year, stacking classes and kids and success. Again, you never want to take it for granted, but you kind of, you see a coach and they kind of got a little wink when they say, hey, we're going to be all right this spring, and you know that they're set to have a good run.
You talk about Jim Nance was here, and the boosters, the people that come in and really have helped this program. You can't do that without the support. He speaks so highly of everything that goes on here. That's huge, I know. But I'm talking about just the regular people that come in and you talk about it.
The bread and butter. And that's not to diminish that group. But at the end of the day, an athletic department is based off of it's the integration of every group, right? And how do we all connect? And it's through what happens on the court or on the field that tie all those people together. But we've done over $300 million of construction over the last 6 years, most recently with the baseball facility opening. And almost all of that was privately funded. There's some money that comes from the students that we're incredibly grateful for that goes towards the Fertitta Center and towards TDECU. But everything else that you've seen that's been touched has been through private funds. And that's the Jimmies and Joes and the people that just help in their own way. And every level helps. $10, $100, $1,000 up to, $1 million. It matters. And what we have to get better at is growing that base. We've done an incredible job in the short period of time that we've been here, but you're going to see a very deliberate effort from us to continue to grow our base.
How do you do that?
That's the $1 million question. Right. So first of all, obviously winning helps. When you've got a winning product, people buy in, and you can see how that's translated with basketball. The other part is being accessible, being out in the community. We're in the process right now of finalizing a road tour that we'll be doing this spring with Dana and Kelvin, where we'll be out not in the state but in the city of Houston, hitting the different corners of Houston. And also, it's other events like when we bring the XFL here, exposing people to the University of Houston that normally haven't necessarily been here, and they say, hey, that was a really neat experience. Let's do it in the fall during a football game in the fall. All those things intertwine to create a growing base. But one thing that we've found is we're a young university, and we're aging into our alumni base. Our demographic, we've got a huge amount of graduates, but our 24 to 35 age group is where we've got the most opportunity to grow.
And it's not, you see the big donors and their names are on, buildings and things like that. It's the regular people though too, the graduates that are saying, you know what, I want to get involved. And it doesn't have to be, a 5-figure donation and things like that. You can get involved in it relatively easily, right?
Yeah, just honestly, and this sounds overly simple, just buying a ticket and being present, supporting. Those are the things that matter when as we continue to grow and we have bigger aspirations to continue to improve our stature as a university. It's having the casual fan be engaged. And, having the light rail line run through campus, and I've got a lot of friends now that park downtown and take the train and come out here for basketball, football games. Those are the casual interactions and that kind of engagement that we have to continue to foster.
Chris Pesman, thank you very much for stopping by. Next month, we're going to be talking about an XFL championship game.
I look forward to it.
All right. All right, let's take a look at what's happening this month in Houston Cougar athletics. Now, there's a lot going on this month for the Cougars. Men's basketball, of course, heading to the postseason. Stay tuned to uhcougars.com for up-to-date information on schedules as well as official watch parties where you can find them. Also, you got home events in baseball, softball, and tennis all happening right here around campus. Don't miss any of the action happening here in the month of March. All right, we're pleased to be joined by Leroy Burrell, head track and field coach here at the University of Houston, here on Coogs Corner. Coach, congratulations coming off the indoor track and field championship. Just another year and another trophy, right?
Well, it's not quite that simple. I think we've staff and I and all of the support we have at the university has really put us in a really good position, to be able to get amass a good group of quality athletes for the conference, and then from time to time we might be able to go on a nice little run like we did for 2 years last season and the season before. But this group is a completely different group. A lot of people don't realize that we had 5 athletes on last year's team, and three other athletes from the team from 2 years ago that are actually earning money running track. So you can say, kind of put it in terms, because I think in today's sports culture you have to put things in terms of other professional sports that people understand. I think maybe a bit more. That we basically had 8 athletes drafted from the past 2 years. So we've managed to turn it around and still have among the best group in the conference, and what we think will eventually be another quality group of athletes moving forward.
So this is 6 straight indoor. Give me an idea, though, just how important. We all know all too well. College athletes are going to come and they like the bright, shiny toys, and you got as bright and shiny a toy as anybody in the country. Mm-hmm. Give me an idea, though, just what these facilities, the indoor track here at the University of Houston, how that helps you from a recruiting standpoint.
Well, I think it helps a bit. I wouldn't say that it's all about recruiting. It's really more about competition and really training and competition. Because, yes, absolutely. Because we can run on an indoor track. There's a skill to running on an indoor track, especially a banked indoor track, and that gives us a bit of an advantage there. I think we still have a ways to go as far as making the facility as premier and top notch as you see at some other places. There are a lot of places that are really shiny and new. Tech's got a great facility. A&M's got a great facility, an hour and a half up the road, and they're popping up all over the place. So we have a bank track, but we have to work on the facility side of it. It needs some reconditioning, some upgrading. The room, the field house needs a few things, and so. That's a project that we're working on as well. If you look at the department in general, you have, basketball has a state-of-the-art basketball facility. Baseball has a state-of-the-art baseball training facility and clubhouse. Our volleyball team moved into an unbelievable locker room. Football they've reworked their locker room, but of course they're not quite there. They've got some things they need to do, and we're in that situation. Well, we got some nice things, but there's some things that we need to do. And so it's our job as a staff to do a couple of things. We got to keep winning, and we got to keep bringing home trophies, and then we've got to continue to build the foundation of our program with enhancements and improvements to the environment that we create for our athletes, and then that'll continue to attract better and better athletes, and we'll win bigger and bigger prizes. At least that's what the hope is.
The history of the program, though, you go back and you think about all that has been accomplished here, and you've been a huge part of that. And you got Carl on the staff, and How much does that help in the grand scheme of things? I know these kids. I know that a lot of the great things that happened here happened before a lot of these kids were even born. But do you lean on that a little bit?
I wouldn't say we lean on it all that much. I think if you give you give kids an opportunity to look and basically you tell them to Google, hey, Google it. They'll do that and they're like, oh wow, that happened. So that's huge. But I don't know if it's the final, what ultimately gets a kid to come here, what ultimately plays into our success. I think, success kind of breeds on itself. It's kind of like, you cut a tree and they're every year, there's a ring from what happened the year before. And slowly but surely, that the trunk of that tree just gets sturdier and sturdier and sturdier. And I think that's what we've done here. Just every year we've been in the hunt, or there's a tradition that's set that helps us to kind of refer back. We can always refer back to, and then try to project ourselves forward. But the more success you layer, like the sturdier things get, and the easier it is to try to get back there. I think that's where we are. We're just I think our program right now is just a product of a lot of success over a very long period of time.
Take me through the conference championship, because it was a good week, all the way around, to say the least. What, you're sending, six to nationals out of that, right?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny, 6. We're a little disappointed by it, honestly. Let's see. On the women's side, because I think that was probably the more challenging, because there's just a lot more teams on the women's side, more competition there. We actually, in my opinion, underperformed a bit. We've been struggling a lot. Brianne Bethel's been struggling a bit. She's been injured a bit, and she's one of our best athletes. And Taylor Bennett, the transfer All-American from Baylor, has had some difficulty adapting to our program. We really felt that we could get another individual or two, actually probably three more individuals on the women's side, and a relay. And I think that kind of led to our drop. I know that led to our drop in the rankings, because we started the year 15th, and I think we're currently 29th or something along those lines. But Taylor Scaife and Tristan Evelyn, who kind of blossomed this year. And I forgot Samaya Samuels probably should have been there as well. We got a good group of people there, but because we were a little down, it made the conference meet a little bit more of a challenge. And, we ended up going into the 4x4 up by a half point. Thank God we had a half point, because that's what we won by. We don't talk about officiating, but it didn't quite go the way I thought it should go. Put it that way. We were the first across the line, but then we were called for a violation, and but we've learned from that, and we've decided that we're going to try to, hit one so far they don't recognize, they can't see it next time around.
No
exactly. We'll no doubt it next year, next outdoors. The men, they just basically we trying to transform that team from a 400 relay based to more field events based this year, and they basically accomplished an unbelievable first day. Scored 75 points. That was more than some people scored the whole meet, and then added an additional, I think, 100 points, I believe, to win by about 50. So it was kind of like business, like on the guy side. So it was a good weekend, but all in all, I think if you ask anybody in our program, any of the coaching staff, athletes, support, we're all a little disappointed, because we've kind of gotten used to finishing the conference season and thinking we got a real good shot at nationals, and now we don't have as many bullets to fire. So we got to get better.
Certainly, the bar is set high, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
Pole vault, you guys were really good in pole vault. You can see how I worked that in.
That was a really good segue.
Long jump as well. You guys, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that as well.
Yes. The pole vault is, I thought it was a really special moment. I believe for the team, and I'd say it was probably quite a bit cathartic. because Robert Platt, we lost one of the best guys in the program over the summer to a terrible accident, and Ben who won the pole vault kind of witnessed it, and for Ben to turn around and compete at his best when it mattered most, and win that was huge, especially over Antonio Ruiz, a transfer of Stephen F. Austin, who's going to nationals, ranked number 7th in the country. So that was huge. And then to sweep the pole vault and then to turn around and sweep the long jump the following day before we even started running, or scoring in running events was big. But, our guys, they know how to win it. They know what to do. There's a huge, deep tradition, and the guys are often the least of my worries when we get to the championship meet, the conference championship meet, I should say.
We, get past you still got work to do on the indoors as far as nationals are concerned, but let's talk about outdoor, because mid-March, it's right here, right?
Well, actually, we go to nationals on, the indoor meet is Friday, Saturday. We turn around and we start outdoors that following Thursday. So, there's really no rest. And you kind of have to think about it like the indoor season is a bit of the preseason, and the outdoor season really starts with the indoor meet. So we're preparing the athletes who did not qualify for nationals for the first outdoor meet, and we go right to it. This is actually this year's a little weird. Schedule's a little off. Spring break doesn't line up with the outdoor season like it has in the past. So it's a little strange for us, but we're right back at it. We're gonna start preparing the outdoor track for first home competition next week while we're gone, and hopefully for the 3 home meets that we have, we'll get nice crowds out there and get the crew ready. And I think we're going to be a better outdoor team. So we get some pretty valuable pieces back, and then you throw the relay piece in there as well. I think we'll be a factor at the championship, at least certainly a top 10 team. I think we got a shot at that for both sides, both men and women. That is Leroy Burrell, head track and field coach here at the University of Houston. We appreciate your time. Good luck in nationals and throughout the outdoor season. Great, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, help us continue to build champions for life by becoming a member of Cougar Pride, the fundraising arm of University of Houston Athletics. Cougar Pride's mission is to provide financial support for student athletes, scholarships, and priority needs of the athletic department. Its members consist of alumni, fans, former student athletes, coaches, and friends that work to ensure student athletes have a first-class education with a chance to excel in the classroom and in competition. Join today by visiting uhcougarpride.com. To purchase your tickets to the next Houston Athletic home event, make sure to visit uhcougars.com/tickets, and don't forget to check uhcougars.com for the latest news and information on the Cougars. All right, visiting with Peyton Contis here on Coogs Corner. Appreciate you spending a little time with us. 4-time, we're talking swimming and diving here, 4-time conference champion. That's kind of the theme, American Conference Champions. Give us an idea of just what it takes to be a 4-time conference champion in the swimming and diving department.
It's a really, really exciting thing for us, and it's something that I don't think necessarily a lot of programs can say, so it's something that we're incredibly proud of. But it takes a lot, and it did take a lot, especially for this program. We had a new coach come in the year before I came, Ryan, and he really came with a vision, and he wanted to bring not only a winning culture, but kind of a family atmosphere and a family culture, which really goes into creating a team that can go on to win so many championships. And being his first recruiting class, we kind of had a lot of, I don't want to say weight, but we had a lot of influence on how the team culture would change. And so I think just focusing in on creating a program that supports each other and that takes working hard as a premium is really what it took to kind of continue to build wins.
Does it seem like it goes by fast? Because everybody I ask about this, it's like, I just feel like I just got here and I was trying to figure out how to get through traffic and get from one class to another. And next thing you know, you've got other people asking you, and your career starts to be winding down on the collegiate level.
Oh, it goes by so fast. I mean, freshman year, you would have asked me how that went, and I would have said it felt like 10 years in 1 year. And now I'm here, and it feels like these 4 years happened in a week. So it really does fly by, yeah.
The breaststroke, that is your, I mean, that is where you
My
really,
bread and butter.
your bread and butter, as it is. Give me an idea of a training week for a collegiate swimmer.
Yeah, so we have a pretty tight schedule as far as workouts go. We have doubles pretty much every day, triples on some days. So Mondays, typically your quote-unquote hardest day. We have morning practice, a lift in the middle of the day, and then we go straight into another swim practice, and those are usually about 2 hours. And the lift is usually about an hour. And then Tuesday, you'll see a lift and a swim in the afternoon. Wednesday, you'll see another double with a swim in the morning, swim in the afternoon. Thursday is the same thing as Tuesday, and then Friday is another doubles. And then we have a 3-hour practice on Saturday. So it is pretty intensive and pretty high volume.
Give me an idea. How many hours a week you spend training purely for swimming?
Purely for swimming, if I had to ballpark it, I'd say at least like 15 to 20.
Plus, you've never made less than a 4.0 in a semester. Don't think I didn't know that. You must take tremendous pride in not only what you do in the pool, but what you do in the classroom. Maybe even put a little bit more emphasis on that part of it.
Yeah, education's always been extremely important to me. I've always loved to learn, and my family's always put a high premium on that as well. So it's something that I swimming is my passion, but I think school is equally the same for me. So I don't really mind putting in the extra hours that it takes.
So when you go on from here, you go on from a conference championship, you qualify for nationals?
Yes.
And then, so where does that go from there?
Yeah, so qualifying for nationals is kind of a confusing process. It's more so based on...
That's why I ask you, yes.
Yeah, on the rest of the people in the country and not so much based on times. So usually they take about 36 to 42 people in each event, usually closer to 36. And then if you're within that top 36, you get to go and compete in that event, and then possibly other events depending on if you make a specific time standard. So it is a little bit of a very hard to explain process, but it's really based off of who are the fastest swimmers in each event in the nation at this collegiate level. So.
How does one get from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Houston, Texas? I mean, what was it about this program, first of all, that really attracted you?
Yeah, I definitely never anticipated coming to Texas. I'd never been here before until my recruiting trip. And I was just looking for a program that I could impact and that I could grow in, and that would allow me to just become the best version of myself. And I kind of saw that vision here when I came with the coaches and with the girls. It just was a very quickly improving and very quickly growing program, and I just wanted to be a part of that. That was very exciting to me.
You feel like a bit of a, I don't know if pioneer is the right word for it, but somebody that kind of turned a program in the right direction. You had a new coaching staff coming in at the same time, so timing is everything. But do you feel take some pride in building a program and helping being a piece of that, or maybe a foundationary piece as far as that's concerned?
I do for sure. My class, specifically this senior class that I was a part of, absolutely just incredible group of girls, and I don't think any of us could have done anything that we did without one another. So I do take a lot of pride in having put in a lot of work into this team, but I also know that I never could have accomplished really any of this without the help of my other teammates. So, what
do you like about Houston, Texas the most?
Coming
from Pittsburgh, I would think it would be the winters, but that's...
Yeah, that is a plus. The weather is very nice here, and the city is very interesting. It's very diverse, which I think is really incredible, and kind of the area, the suburb of Pittsburgh that I come from isn't necessarily the most diverse, so that was something that I think was great, and just teaching me a lot of different cultures and a lot of different things of that nature. But I really think just being in a new city is a really great opportunity to grow as a person. So,
who were your influences growing up? Not just in the pool, but in life. Because let's face it, you got a lot of things going right for you, and not just athletics. We're talking about academics as well. Who really inspired you?
Yeah, my parents for sure. I mean, I know that's kind of like the usual answer.
That's a good answer.
That's given, but my parents are the most supportive people that I've ever met in my life, and they gave up a lot to take care of my brother and my sister and I, and yeah, so they are really the driving force that motivates me to accomplish anything that I do. So
you think back about where you are now and where you want to be, and all those early mornings in the pool, and then getting up before the sun came up, and mom or dad loading everybody in the car, and not just the sacrifice they made, but the sacrifice you make, because you enjoyed being there, but at the same time you knew it was hard work even then. Do you get a better appreciation now that you're a little bit older and kind of have a little different perspective?
Yeah, I definitely think that you kind of learn that while it is a passion, there are moments where it's not, and there are moments where it's really hard, and you kind of find the appreciation, I think, in those moments that sometimes it's not always easy, but you love it enough that you push through, and I think definitely it's something to take pride in as well, to be able to push through the moments where it's not your favorite thing to do, but that you do it regardless. So,
what is next for you?
Yeah, so I definitely want to go to graduate school and continue to pursue an education because, as we talked about, that's very important to me.
The kinesiology degree, that's what you're going to have.
I do.
Right?
So I have a kinesiology degree, which I think will be important in the aspect of I do want to work with athletes, but I also have a minor in psych, and I want to kind of focus in on that and work and work with the mental health of athletes, college, high school, honestly, really any kind of age group, because I think that there isn't a lot of focus on the mental hardships that athletes face in having to deal with these like overwhelming schedules and performances and all of that kind of stuff.
So you're even looking at what would be kind of a pioneer program, something that really, an idea that you have right now that I think that's very interesting, because you got all the strength and conditioning and all the lifting and dietitians and everything else, but from the mental aspect of it, that really has not been tapped into yet.
Yeah, it's been something that I think has not necessarily been as deeply explored as it could be. And obviously there are strides, like our athletic department has implemented a lot of mental health causes this year in particular, which is really exciting. But I think just continuing to look deeper into, well, how can we help athletes adjust, or how can we help athletes deal with the workload that they have, and just kind of optimizing their mental health so that they can optimize their performance.
Tendonitis in the ankle? Is it in the foot or the ankle?
The ankle.
Okay,
yes.
So are you good?
Oh yeah. I'm able to compete. I'm able to train, and it's really just about keeping pain low and pushing through when it doesn't necessarily feel great. But as long as I'm allowed to train and compete, I have no complaints.
What advice would you give to that little girl who wants to be where you are right now?
Just honestly, I would say keep loving the sport. I think that sometimes we get so wrapped up in wanting to be, really successful and wanting to, win, and that's great and that's awesome. But I think if you don't necessarily have the passion for it, all the hard work won't quite feel worth it. So just finding a sport that you really love and sticking with it.
It's Peyton Condis, the University of Houston all-conference swimmer. Thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.